Morning, all good. Good morning to you as well. All good. Just found the time to have an additional stream ahead of game week 16, so I hadn't really planned on doing a deadline stream this morning, but it has been a really interesting week when it comes to FPL. A lot of transfers. I think it has to be some kind of record. So many price changes during the week. I think it was like 36 prices going up and down last night. I was actually planning on having a live Q&A last night, but I actually slept in. Kind of embarrassing, but fancy Salah in the midfield this week. For game week 16 at that price, I don't necessarily think that Saka is a good option, to be honest. He might not start once again. Anislot said that he would talk to Mo Salah. So he's still the second most expensive player in the game, so having Mo Salah at the moment is actually a risk. It's not that he has been delivering uh, at the same numbers as we've seen, especially in the 24-25 season. So I think there are better options, and in midfield at that price point, Saka, he would definitely be my preferred option. For transfers, I did 4 transfers early. I did my last transfer this morning. Sold Pakita to bring in Rice. So I have actually 2 players flagged ahead of game week 16. Timber, Rice. I'm really hoping that I will have a triple up on Arsenal for their lovely fixture at home against Wolves, but I need Timber and Rice to start. So I have Anderson on the bench. It's not the worst option playing at home against Spurs. He can pick up defensive contribution points, and of course he can deliver assists as well. So Anderson, not the worst option, but I'm really hoping that Rice will start. Not Nepo, hello there. I hear a Nordic accent. You have a good air. Yes, that's correct. I'm from Norway, actually. Thoughts on no Saka in a free hit? I really like Saka for game week 16. He was rested midweek in the Champions League as well, so I think that he will start against Wolves. But of course, there are other options as well. I think that SA is a really good option as well. If you have SA in your free team, you can potentially consider to give him the captain's armband this game week. He was rested midweek as well, so I think he definitely will start and play close to 90 minutes. No midweek games for Arsenal ahead of game week 17 as well, so I think this is a good game week for it. Saka captaincy should be a guarantee. I think I'm pretty much set on captaining Saka this game week. Of course, Erling Haaland, he can punish the non-captainers. He will be the most owned player in game week 16 as well. His effective ownership have been stable around 150% so far in the last 10 game weeks. I will probably captain Erling Haaland in game week 17, playing at home against West Ham, and I know that there are a lot of managers that still have their free hit chip left. They will probably use it next game week. So I think game week 16 is a decent week to go against Erling Haaland. Going Raul Jimenez captain. Ooh, lovely. I actually transferred in Raul Jimenez this game week. I sold Mateta to bring in Raul Jimenez. Pressy Gamer Raul Jimenez captain. Wow. I'm really hoping that Raul Jimenez will score in game week 6. Will I captain him? I think that I will probably just go Saka, to be honest, but I like the punt. Raul Jimenez. So he has played decent minutes recently, Raul Jimenez. I think he will start. Muniz is still injured. He's on penalties for Fulham. Good fixture playing against Burnley, so yeah, why not? Haaland has 6 goals in 4 appearances against Crystal Palace, just saying. 6 goals in 4 appearances against Crystal Palace. But Crystal Palace, they have been better defensively. On the other hand, they miss a couple of players. I'm not saying that Erling Haaland is a bad captain pick by no means, but I think that if you're willing to take a punt, game week 16 is not the worst week to go against him. I think game week 17, you will get even more punished for going against Erling Haaland. One of the reasons why I'm actually tempted to captain Saka as well is that it's a late night Saturday game for Arsenal playing under the lights. We'll watch this game. It will be really interesting. And by having Saka as my captain, the game will be even more fun. I don't usually let those kind of things decide which player I'm going to captain, but if it's really close, it can be helpful. Let's see. So it's 3 hours 47 minutes until the deadline. I'm not able to sit all the way until deadline this morning, but I will at least be on for like 30 minutes. Yesterday I was actually planning to host a live Q&A, but I actually slept in while I was putting my youngest kid to bed. I actually fell asleep. It was like 8 o'clock, 7:30 last night. So I actually missed my own Q&A. Woke up in the middle of the night, decided to pull the trigger. So this is actually my second live stream in 10 hours. Not Nepo, same here on my free hits, but I think Haaland this week is more attractive than we think. Yeah, I think you're probably right, and we saw this in game week. Was it game week 14 as well, where he got 14 points? I went against Erling Haaland in game week 14. Captain Bruno Fernandes, he got 4 points. Haaland got 14. Crystal Palace looked guest last weekend, and with their game on Thursday as well, they will be tired. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think Glasner said that on Thursday they will rest all players starting in the Premier League. So I think there will be a lot of rotation in the Conference League game on Thursday for Crystal Palace, but they still have played a lot of minutes recently. Glasner said that Mateta, he was tired. They have an injury to one of their most important players in Munoz. They have an injured Sar as well. They might actually struggle for the rest of this month. There will be a lot of games and they don't have enough players to rotate every game. So far this season, players like Guehi has actually missed some games because of injury as well. So I'm a bit worried about Crystal Palace. Like 4 game weeks ago, I actually was tripled up on Crystal Palace. I had Munoz, Sar, Mateta, but after making my moves, I actually sold all of my Crystal Palace players. Who would you play? Ekitike or Watkins? I think both are really good options. So if I were on a free hit this game week, I would probably consider both of them. I like Ekitike because of the fact that Gakpo is injured. Alexander Isak will probably not start. So I think he's pretty nailed on to start in game week 16. He is a really good player. So Ekitike is a really solid option. When it comes to Watkins, it's like his form is starting to be a bit better recently. We saw this in, was it game week 15 or game week 14? He got a brace playing at home against Brighton. I think this is a good fixture for Ekitike, so probably him. As a Norwegian, do you not say Haaland's name the Norwegian way in standard conversation? So when I discuss football with other Norwegians, I don't actually say Haaland in the English pronunciation. I say it in more like a Norwegian way, I guess. Do you think Haaland is scoring every other week on purpose just to confuse FPL managers? Well, he certainly has confused me in the last couple of game weeks. I captained Bruno Fernandes in game week 14, went for Erling Haaland the next game week where he blanked. So kind of frustrating. So my wise captain in game week 15 was actually Bruno Fernandes for his great return, but feels like, especially if Erling Haaland does well this game week, I think you're onto something with your theory about Haaland scoring every other game week. So new players in my team: Vandenberg, Phil Foden, Rice, Raul Jimenez, and Saka. So 5 transfers made ahead of game week 16. Sold players like NGI and Bumo. They're both going to participate in AFCON, so they will be gone after game week 17. So Mateta as well, he was yellow flagged. I mentioned the comments from Glasner, so I think that Mateta was an easy sell ahead of game week 16. I sold Munoz as well, he was injured, easy sell. And this morning I actually sold Lucas Paqueta as well. I was minutes away from captaining Bruno and backed out at the last moment. Really frustrating. It would be a lie to say that I was minutes away, but it was like a 60-40 decision for me in game week 15. I was really tempted by Bruno Fernandes, talked about him in my team selection video ahead of game week 15 as well, but ended up on Erling Haaland. He had a great fixture at home against Sunderland. Oh, Lightning Yo needed this stream. Thanks for joining in. Are you ready for game week 16? 3 hours, 40 minutes left. I haven't seen any official numbers, but this must be some kind of a record. We have 2 players that have been transferred in more than 1 million times. Both Phil Foden, Igor Thiago. So FPL managers, they have certainly taken advantage of those AFCON 5 transfers. Ademac, morning, used 2 of my 5 transfers on Fault Mother to Raul and Munoz to O'Reilly. Triple captaining Holland next week against Leeds. Triple captaining Holland next week against Leeds and wildcard in game week 18. Nice. I think next game week is West Ham at home for Man City. We'll have a quick look. Yeah. But I think that game week 17, as you mentioned, I think this is a really good game week for the triple captain. So if I have my triple captain left, I would certainly do the same, use it on Erling Haaland in game week 17. Having the wildcard left could be a huge advantage as well. I think it's a good time to play it in game week 18. I actually discussed this on my latest Q&A yesterday as well. Game week 18 is a solid week for a wildcard. You can save some of your AFCON transfers. This could be really, really helpful heading into January. Not Nepo, on a free hit, would you take the risk with Timber? Probably, because I think that he will either play or not play at all. So on a free hit, Timber is just fine, especially if you have the funds to have a solid player first on your bench. So yeah. We didn't get much information from Arteta in the press conference when it comes to players like Timber. Rice, kind of frustrating, but wasn't really expecting Arteta to give us any concrete information. So, but on a free hit, Timber is just fine, but make sure to have some solid options on your bench as well. So in my team, I have Vandenberg in defense. If I were to play my free chip this game week, I would definitely go Collins. I have a feeling that Collins will do well in game week 16. I couldn't quite afford Vandenberg. I'm sorry, I couldn't quite afford Collins, so I had to go for Vandenberg. I needed the funds to upgrade Pakta to Rice. Otherwise, I would definitely have gone for Collins, the Brentford centre back. Admak, thank you for your advice. Keep up the good work. Thanks for joining in. Best of luck for game week 16 and have a nice weekend. So we talked about Haaland captaincy. Haaland, he is the bookie's favorite. As you can see in the graphic, 55%. Gyökeres is second with 48. Alexander Isak is actually number 3 with 44%. So the bookies, they don't usually have that much information about injuries, rotation, stuff like that. They tend to set the odds on history and the opponent. So this is the reason why players like Mo Salah, Alexander Isak always have low odds when it comes to anytime goal scorer. But Haaland 55, Gyökeres 48, Alexander Isak 44%. When it comes to keeping a clean sheet, Arsenal, they are favorites 54%, Chelsea 45, and Fulham 42. So this is one of the reasons why I would go Timber on a free hit. Just hope that he will start. Arsenal, they are still one of the best defenses, even though, of course, they will miss Gabriel, potentially Saliba as well. That's the problem. Not very solid. Is Jed Spence and Heaven as backups if I do? I would at least have a player like Vandenberg. I think Brentford, they have done well defensively. So home fixture against Leeds on a free hit, I would at least have a player like this first on my bench, especially if you're going to start Timber. Let's see. So if you're interested in having your team reviewed, head over to X, post a picture under my latest post. So this is FPL Lucas team. Let's see if I can fit in. So in goal, it's Raya, Timber in defense, Van Dijk, Dan Burn, Semenyo, SA, Phil Foden, Gakpo, and Cunha. Erling Haaland, Thiago up front. So 2 injuries. I think that FPL Luca, it's probably wise to use a couple of transfers. Gakpo and Munoz. I think both of them will miss some game weeks going forward. So the original plan, Munoz to Guardiola and play 4 at the back, or I could sell Gakpo, play 5 in midfield this game week. So how many transfers do you have left? Gakpo punt did not pay off last week. Should have gone Bruno. I did this earlier this season as well. I think it was before, was it game week 5, something like that, when Man United had the good fixture at home against Burnley. So Bruno Fernandes, Mbumo, Cunha, all of them were transferred in by a lot of FPL managers. I went for Cunha. Mbumo scored, Bruno Fernandes scored, Cunha, he actually got injured only 1 point, so I know the feeling. Do I transfer Mateta or wait? I can bench him this week. I think that benching 8+ million forward is probably a bit of a waste, to be honest, especially if you have some free transfers. I wouldn't sell him for a hit. I don't think he will do well. I have sold Mateta in my own team, but if you're going to bench Mateta, you might as well just sell him. if you're planning to bring in Jared Bowen, then you might as well wait a couple of game weeks. Sorry, not Gakpo, I meant Cunha. I've had Gakpo for a while now. Yeah. I did the same with Cunha, as mentioned. Can't really remember which game week this was. Of course, I can go and check. I remember the fixture. It was Man United at home against Burnley. 5 free transfers, haven't used any. I think Munoz to Guardiola is a good option, seeing that you have 2 Man City players. It's room for 3 of them. They have really good fixtures, and I think Guardiola is one of the safest options from Man City at the moment. So, especially seeing that you have Timber as well, I think I would sell both Gakpo and Munoz, to be honest. Hey, I posted a pic on your tweet. Great, Joshua. I will have a look. Let's just find some transfer options for FPL Luca. Oh, Lightning in the chat. Let's see if we can get some clarity on the situation. So Gakpo injured, Munoz injured. I think Munoz definitely is a sell. So Munoz to Guardiola. I would actually consider something like you already have a triple up on Arsenal. So what we don't see in the graphic at the moment is that Raya is the goalkeeper. So no Arsenal players. Also, good morning. Hope you're well. All good, all good. Hope you're doing well yourself. I will have a look in a minute. Personally, I'm keeping Mateta for the Leeds fixture next week. If you can avoid playing him this week, it makes sense to keep, I think, yeah. You think that he can turn it around and start delivering from game week 17 against Leeds, then yeah. My worry with Mateta is that we saw this in game week 15 as well. Was it game week 13 and 15 where he actually got subbed off? Captain Mateta this game week where he actually only played 58 minutes. So really, really frustrating. And I think Lesnar is trying to avoid any injuries on Mateta at the moment. So I don't think he's worth his price tag. But of course, there is an option to wait and see what happens in game week 17. No midfielders stand out. So if you want Liverpool cover, Soboslai, of course, is an option. Gakpo to Soboslai. My only worry is that he is on 4 yellow cards, so if he picks up a yellow card in game week 16, he will not be able to play him in game week 17. You can potentially just play 4 at the back if Soboslai is suspended, but another option is, of course, to downgrade Munoz to a cheaper defender. Try to upgrade Gakpo to Bruno Fernandes. Could be an option. Yeah, I captained him versus Wolves. Wasn't? Yeah, I think it was against Wolves. Don't really remember. I'm starting to get a bit confused when it comes to those game week numbers. I remember what happened, but can't really decide if it was game week 14 or 15. But it was the game week where he played 50 something minutes. So I think that maybe if you want Bruno Fernandes, there is an option to downgrade Munoz to someone like Van Hecke. Not the best option, of course, playing against Liverpool. Maybe Vandenberg, home fixture against Leeds this game week. And Gakpo to Bruno Fernandes. Double up on the Man United midfield. So they have looked better recently, Man United, especially in attack. Looked really good in game week 15 against Wolves. Saka triple captain. Yeah, go for it. Go for it. I think that the safest option is to triple captain Erling Haaland next game week 17. But I refuse to buy Bruno now. He has completely betrayed me. Sold him in game week 13 and he scored 33 points since. I think the ship has sailed for me now. Maybe buying game week 19. I totally get the feeling. So if you sold Bruno Fernandes in game week 13, I can't see why you would want him to blank and avoid having him in your team as soon as game week 16. Foden, Bruno Fernandes, or Wilson, pick one. Foden, Bruno Fernandes, or Wilson. It kind of depends. Are you transferring them in, or are these players captain options? So they're quite different price points. Foden, Bruno, a bit more expensive compared to Wilson. He makes me so angry. Misses 2 penalties when I own him. Yeah, it feels like this is like classic FPL when things like this happen. I had a lot of those at the start of the season myself. Actually owned the player who picked up the first red card this season, Esri Kansa, in game week 1. Let's see who's first. 5 minutes ago, Josh. Oops. So this is Joshua's team in the chat. So it's Raya in goal, same as with O Lightning. Let's see, how long do you think you'll be live for? I don't really have that much time. I will not be able to sit all the way until the actual deadline. So I think it will be like 15 to 20 minutes left for this stream. I actually had a Q&A in the middle of the night, like 6 hours ago. I never actually had a live stream in the middle of the night, so it was like another audience, players from other different countries, I guess. But it was fun. But I'm going to attend a football tournament as a coach today, so I don't unfortunately have the time to sit much longer. So 15-20 minutes left. Okay, I was going to be there early. Yeah, I actually slept in. Kind of embarrassing, but I slept in last night, so I missed my own Q&A. Really sorry about that. Is Soboslai a good captain for a punt looking for a differential? I think there probably are better options. I really like the fixture for Arsenal. I think if you're really looking for a punt, I think I will go Igor Thiago at home against Leeds. Nailed on penalties. I talked about captaining Thiago in my team selection video as well. I think he is actually a good punt. I would rather go Thiago instead of Soboslai, to be honest. But this team, Josh, let's see. Posted on your tweets. So was there any message? I didn't really read the full thing. So let's have a look at this team from Josh. So it's Raya in goal, O'Reilly, Anderson, Virgil van Dijk, Doku, Bruno Guimaraes, Mbumo, Bruno Fernandes, Thiago, Haaland, and Voltemade. So have you made any transfers? I would definitely at least save one transfer to sell Mbumo next game week. I like this team, so it's not, you don't necessarily have to use a lot of transfers. I've seen a lot of players sell Voltemade. I've sold Mbumo myself, but of course they can play in game week 16. It's game week 17 where the AFCON players will miss out. So still got 5 transfers. So my advice would be to at least use one of them. You have Thiago, Haaland. Maybe my advice would be to, seeing that you have 5 free transfers, you can potentially take a punt. Try something like Ekitiki. I think SA could be an option as well, seeing that you have 5 free transfers. Rice is an option as well. The only worry with Rice is that he might actually not play. SA will definitely start got a rest in the Champions League midweek, so something like Doku potentially to Rice. This will free up a spot for a new Man City player if you want Foden, if he continues to haul. But what are your transfer plans? Stuck between SA Saka, Wilson, Kitiki Raul. What about free hits? Is it a good game week to play a free hit if you have one? Sure, I think that if you have chips left, free hits in game week 16 or possibly in game week 18 are probably the best game weeks. And if you have your triple captain, I would use it next game week in game week 17 on Erling Haaland at home against West Ham. Stuck between SA, Saka, Wilson. If you have the option to bring in Saka, something like Mbumo to Saka. So I did actually sell Mbumo this game week to bring in Saka to captain him. So if you have the funds available to do Mbumo to Saka, that would probably be my advice. I think having attacking cover from Arsenal when they play at home against one of the worst defensive teams, I think this is a good idea. We saw in game week 15 against Man United that Wolves, they are not in their best form. So yeah, my advice would be to get Saka into your team. And seeing that you have 5 free transfers, it's probably possible to shoehorn him in. I have a wildcard and a free hit and bench boost left. What all has to do them in? So if you have all of your chips left, definitely it's still time to play all of those chips. You have until game week 19 to play your chips. So my advice would be to, did you say that you had your wildcard as well? I have wildcard and free hits and bench boost. I would probably free hit this game week or next game week and then play my wildcard in game week 17 or 18, and I would use my bench boost the next game week after using the wildcard. So you can set up a pretty good bench boost team by using your wildcard. So free hit in game week 16 or 17, wildcard in game week 17 or 18, and use your bench boosts the following game week after using the wildcard. That at least would be my advice with the remaining chips. After game week 19, you will not be able to use the first set of chips, as we will actually receive a second set of the same chips. Roger 92, I have Timber, Rice, and SA, and 3 free transfers. Van de Ven, cover for Timber. Would you roll or get Saka in 2 moves for SA or Rice? I think SA and Rice are perfectly fine. They can easily outscore Saka, so it would be really annoying for you, of course, to use all your transfers to bring in Saka. Would be kind of typical FPL. I think that Saka, he will be captained by a lot, so classic FPL for Saka to blank in game week 16 and one of SA or Rice to outscore him. So I think having Van de Ven is probably just fine. They kept the clean sheet in game week 15. I would just roll, to be honest. Good morning. Good morning. My captain is Chukwueze. Wow, that's a great punt. They have a really good fixture though, so why not? Hi mate, I'm number 1 in my league. Can you have a look? Already transferred Calafiori and Munoz for Anderson and Hinkapie. 2.7 in the bank. Nice. Nice. Let's see. There were some other posts, comments under this post as well, Ian. Oops. I think it's actually better to just... Quality will not be the best, but at least we get all of the team in the same picture. Let's see. So Ian, let me know your thoughts in the chat. This is the team. Oh, it's been a while since I've seen Cole Palmer, to be honest. That's interesting. So Sanchez in goals, a triple up on Chelsea. Sanchez, Chalobah, and Cole Palmer. Jonathan, if Saka blanks today, hope Arteta sells him in January from an Arsenal fan. I think Saka, I'm really hoping that Saka can deliver this game week. He is my captain. But you never know. One last dance with Django, different captain, or is that crazy? It's a little bit crazy, but at the same time, I actually like it. Django Otara, captain. So Roger 92 is this your team posted on X? Sometimes it's a bit hard to tell when it's not the same username on YouTube and X. But that's fine, of course, but just let me know in the chat. So this is a differential team. Some big differentials. So Lewis Kelly and White, Chalobah, Kenny Tete, and in midfield Saka, Rogers, Django, Cole Palmer, Devaney, up front Watkins, Thiago, and Haaland. This is definitely a free hit team, right? Yeah, I think this must be the free hit team. Yeah. Henderson or Dubravka in goal this week? I would go Dubravka, to be honest. Can potentially be a good differential to not own Crystal Palace defenders. There will be a lot of Richards, Guehi still, even though Munoz is injured. So Crystal Palace defense heavily owned. I don't really see them keeping a clean sheet against Man City. So going against the Crystal Palace defense this game week could be a good thing. So yeah, probably just play Dubravka. So this team with Timber, it would look like Timber, Lewis Kelly, Cash Spence, and Heaven. Yeah, probably a bit better. I like this team as well, though. Lewis Kelly, White. I think that Lewis Kelly and White will start. So if I think that instead of going Timber, I think you should just keep Lewis Kelly and White. I think if Timber will start, he will most probably play center back together with Hincapi. So Lewis Kelly, White. I think this team is good to go, to be honest. Just joined. This is a free hit, right? Yes, it is. I think this is a solid free hit with really like it, to be honest. Some punts in there as well, together with some of the most owned assets. So hopefully this will be a green arrow in game week 16. This is FPL Dots Raya Ingle. Ooh. Mateus Nunes, Van de Ven, Ofama. So a couple of differentials in defense. Phil Foden is in, Bruno Fernandes, Saka, Chukwueze captaincy. We saw this in the chat. I will pay close attention to this fixture for Fulham. I will watch it as a Raul Jimenez owner. So Chukwueze as a captain, I really like it, to be honest. Good luck. Rice is in, same as with me. I have Rice, really hoping that he will start. And Voltmade up front together with Erling Haaland. I can't really see your bench. Your bench is hidden. Not Nepo, thanks for the advice. No worries, hopefully you will have a good game week. I think you have an interesting free hit team for this game week. Let's see. So if you're interested in having a quick review of your team, head over to X and post a picture. So this is actually my team ahead of game week 16. I made 5 transfers. All of the AFCON transfers used. I actually just got Saka in. I sold Mbumo. I sold NGI. Both of them going to AFCON. So Rice and Saka, they are in. Phil Foden is new. Raul Jimenez, and Vandenberg as well. So 5 new players for me. Hopefully they can deliver right away. Should I start Foltmother? So Foltmother, he is one of the most transferred out players, but I don't necessarily think that he is a bad option for game week 16. So away against Sunderland, I know that Sunderland have been solid defensively, but we have seen some signs of Sunderland that they are starting to feel the pressure a bit, especially from the next game week in game week 17. Sunderland, they will actually miss 10 players that will leave and participate in AFCON. So I think that we will see some regression from Sunderland in the next game week, and it might actually happen in game week 16. So Foltmother is a definite sell. No, are there better options available? Yes. Joshua, your head-to-head league is so tough. Let's see. This was... I have 2 different head-to-head leagues. The reason for this was that when I made the first one, not really sure what happened, but it got closed for new entries. See if I can fit all of this in. So this is the head to leg. I'm actually 4th, 24 points. Dave Edwards, deleted player. Is that actually a deleted player? Not really sure. Obi-Wan on 3rd. Myself. We have FPL Lisa in 5th. Average. I kind of agree that this is a competitive league because I've had a lot of green arrows recently, but I only have 5 wins in this league, so this means that the quality is good. I have Minte. Should I sell him? Not necessarily. The fixture is not the best, of course, playing against Liverpool. But on the other hand, Liverpool, they're not the same as we've gotten used to. So Minte, he still has good underlying stats. So unless there are any players that you really, really want, I think that Minte is fine to just keep. MK06, I made 3 transfers. Mbumo, Munoz, Mateta to Saka, Vandenberg, and Thiago. Should I do Senesi to O'Reilly to cover for Timber if he doesn't play? And Senesi is also a doubt. Yeah, I think this is good use of a transfer, so it's a yes from me. Senesi to O'Reilly, really good move. Good fixtures for Man City coming up, so I think that O'Reilly will start most game weeks. You have to be prepared for the occasional benching for O'Reilly. We know about the Pep roulette, stuff like that. So I can't see O'Reilly starting every game week in December, but yeah, I think it's at that price, he is actually still good value. So yeah. Thanks for the advice yesterday on my team. No worries. Hopefully the advice will be helpful and hopefully you will get a green arrow. Mustafa Hassan, bench 1, O'Reilly, Van Dijk, Anderson, or Timber, or play all 4 and bench Rice. The thing is that all of those players are kind of expensive. Anderson is the cheapest. Usually, I would definitely start Rice, to be honest. Usually I would say Anderson, but they have a really good fixture against Burnley. I think that Rice and Timber just need to start and hope that they play. But by having Anderson first on your bench, at least you have good cover if one of them misses out. So yeah, my advice would be to just play Timber, play O'Reilly, play Van Dijk, and definitely start Rice as well with Anderson first on the bench. Jonathan, 38 viewers a couple of weeks ago. It was like 3 to 5 fame. Keep up the good work, paying off. Yeah, it's really weird because sometimes I have like close to 1K viewers when having like 90 minutes streams like this. Sometimes it barely reaches 100. So it's probably because of the timing. I know that there are a lot of big FPL YouTube channels that will have deadline streams in a couple of hours, a bit later today. So when I do deadline streams at the same time as those big channels, it's probably one of the reasons why it's a bit harder for me to get views. But maybe I should try to start a bit earlier every game week. Probably that's a good idea. So if you're interested, subscribe to the channel. I post weekly team selection videos. I always have a Q&A the night before the deadline, and when I find the time, I have deadline streams like this as well. So if you're interested in that, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And if you're interested in having your team reviewed, I will have the time for a couple of quick team reviews before I have to go. So if you're interested, head over to X, post a picture of your team under my latest comment, and I'll get your team up on the screen. So I have already made 5 transfers ahead of game week 16, so not taking a hit. Captaincy on Saka. I think I'm close to locked in. Let's see. Let's see. So my team for game week 16 will be Sanchez in goal, Van de Ven, Vandenberg, and Timber. Really hoping that Timber will play. And one of the reasons why I'm benching Anderson is, of course, that I have Van de Ven. I'm not a big fan of having my midfielders and forwards play against my defenders, so it makes sense for me to have Anderson on the bench. Phil Foden is in, Rice, the same as with Timber. Really hoping that he will start. We didn't get much information from Arteta yesterday, so just fingers crossed, hoping that we'll not need Elliot Anderson in game week 16. Saka captain, as mentioned, Bruno Fernandes, and up front Thiago, Haaland, and Raul Jimenez. So really hoping that the punt on Raul will pay off. What about Mao? Mason Mount? I think Mount and Ben White at the moment. I think, of course, Ben White, when he plays and when he starts, he is a really good FPL option. We know about his qualities, both when it comes to defending and especially going forward. But at the moment, is Ben White a good FPL option? I'm not really sure at that price. Yeah, Mason Mount from Man United. I think both of them are in the same category. schedule is really hectic at the moment. I think that players like Mason Mount, Ben White, they will not play week in, week out. So if you want to cover the Man United attack, I think that Cunha probably is the better option. He will play as their number 9. They have Sesko injured, and Bumo is traveling to AFCON as well. So I think Cunha is pretty much nailed for Man United. Mount will play most minutes, but he's that kind of player that will get subbed off first. And when Sesko is back, I think Mount can play like it's typical Mason Mount subbed off 62nd minutes. So Mason Mount, Ben White, okay punts, but they're not on my watch list at the moment. But of course, if you have a feeling that they will do well going forward, of course, go for it. So it's not like they're terrible options, but I think there are potentially other better options available. Start one, Lacroix, Esteve, Alderete. So not the best options, probably. Esteve for the home fixture against Fulham. So I talked about this when I got the question about Dean Henderson. I think I would probably just bench Lacroix and avoid the Crystal Palace defense. There will be a differential going without any Crystal Palace defenders. So even though Munoz is injured, there's still a lot of Hendersons, Lacroix, Richards, Guehi, right? So there will be FPL managers that have to play their Crystal Palace defenders against Man City, especially if Timber is out. So I think that benching Lacroix makes sense in your case as well. Let's see. So we have a new team posted from Philip K. Let's have a look. So Leno in goal against Burnley. In defense, Hincapié and Lewis Skelly. I think those are probably the two safest options from Arsenal in especially game week 16. The only worry with those players are, of course, that they are transfers waiting to happen. When Arsenal start getting their regular defenders back, I think that both Hincapié and Lewis Skelly will be benched, but they're perfectly fine for game week 16. So cash in defense as well. Bruno Fernandes, Phil Foden, Saka captain, same as my team. Wilson in midfield. I was actually considering Wilson myself, but went for Raul Jimenez and I didn't want to double up on the Fulham attack. Bruno Guimaraes and Haaland Thiago. Anderson on the bench with Shaloba and Mark Guiu. So a really solid team. I think that seeing that you have players like Hincapié, Wilson, Phil Foden is in, Saka as well. I think this is this team that has used a couple of the AFCON transfers already. Captaincy on Saka. So in my opinion, this team is good to go. As Mbumo and Ahmad will not be available for AFCON, I'm considering Mount will get some more minutes. He's giving back as well. Yeah, probably right. Both Ahmad and Mbumo will leave. So Mason Mount could actually be a solid punt for the upcoming game weeks. So yeah. Minte to Semenyo. Yes, if you have the funds available. I think Semenyo will come good. I talked about this yesterday on my Q&A as well. Semenyo, he has actually been a bit unlucky, so in the first 8 game weeks, he was actually really, really lucky. He overperformed his expected goal involvement, but in the last 5 game weeks, he has actually been a bit unlucky, so he should probably have gotten more FPL points. So Minte to Semenyo, this could be worth a transfer. Can't get Cunha for budget issues. Yeah. I think go for Mason Mount. I think it's a good punt. And you're mentioning it as well because of AFCON, they will miss Mbumo and Ahmad. So I think Mason Mount will get more minutes and potentially taking some corners as well. We have seen Mbumo take some set pieces. Maybe Mount will take this role with Mbumo out. Bruno Fernandes will probably still be taking most of them, but yeah, Mason Mount could actually be a solid punt in the upcoming game weeks. How are you doing in the overall cup? Do you mean my overall FPL rank at the moment? The cup is starting. I can't really remember if it's after. Is it in the second half of the season? So after game week 19. My overall rank is not the best. I think it's 1.5, 1.6 million at this point. I started really terrible this season, so I actually had a solid season since game week 1. Started as 9.5 million in the world. Took a punt on Jared Bowen captaincy in game week 1. I think it made sense. We didn't know at that point that Sunderland actually was going to start the season so well. So in game week 1, West Ham, they actually lost 2-0 to Sunderland, and this was a big disappointment and a surprise. So I actually had both Diouf and Jared. Players, I had players like Saka and Cole Palmer as well. Both of them got injured really early on. I had Konsa picking up a red card in game week 1, so not the best start, but since game week 1, I have done reasonably well. So my aim is still to get a top 10k rank, so still a lot of game weeks to go. The cup started last week. Maybe it's just me not paying enough attention to the cup, overall cup. Nice. I haven't actually seen this, but I won my fixture in game week 15. But thanks for letting me know. This will be interesting to see how this ends. The cup started last week, so if you haven't done so, I actually have missed that the cup started so early on. I thought the cup was starting a bit later, but the cup started in game week 15. Just scroll down on the FPL page and find this where it says overall cup. So 69 versus 35 for Tobias Pettersson. So my next fixture is against Jabir Budbelu. So I haven't really checked his team. Let's have a quick look. Number 1. Yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter, you'll finish well within the top million. Yeah, I think 1 million is within reach. My hope was actually to be within 1 million before game week 19, so it's still a goal I need. Of course, a couple of my differentials to do well, but I'm really hoping that players like Raul Jimenez and the Saka captaincy can help me get a green arrow. I have Thiago. Should I keep or sell? my mini league is up to game week 19. I think Thiav is a solid option, but the Newcastle fixtures, it's a bit tough. So from game week 18 and onwards. So on my watch list, I have a couple of Newcastle and West Ham players, but I think that from game week 18 and onwards, they have really good fixtures. So if you're able to bench them until game week 18, I would just keep them, to be honest. Is Timber going to play? I wish I had a concrete answer, but the predicted Arsenal 11 has Timber in it, but I don't know for sure, but I'm really, really hoping that he will start, and my personal guess is that Timber will play. I think he was just rested midweek. He was actually he was traveling with the squad even though he was not on the actual team sheet. So posted on Twitter. Thanks for the stream. Let's have a look. This will probably be the last team this morning. I have to go really soon. Actually attending a football tournament. Oops. So this is it. So Eden 1v9 posted on Twitter. Thanks for the stream. So this is his team. Sanchez in goal, Cash, Timber. So there have been a lot of teams with Timber on this stream. Really, really hoping that we will get minutes from Timber this game week. O'Reilly is in as well. Soboslai, Phil Foden, Bruno Fernandes, Saka. So really solid midfield, and up front row, Jimenez, Watkins, and Haaland. Wow, I really like this team. I talked about Watkins as well. I think he is a really good option. I got a question yesterday about Ekitike or Watkins. I think that Watkins probably edges it ahead of Ekitike, so a really, really solid team. You think Lewis Kelly will start? Hi, by the way. Yeah, I think so. Give me 1 minute. So do you think Lewis Kelly will start? Yes, he's in the predicted starting lineup as well. It has Ben White, Lewis Kelly, and the predicted Arsenal fan account on Twitter, it has, or X, it has Timber starting as center back with Hincapi. So the predicted starting back for Arsenal this game week is Ben White, Hincapi, Timber, and Lewis Kelly. I'm tempted by a wild differential Watkins captain this week. Wow, yeah. I think that this is a solid game week to go against Erling Haaland, so why not? Watkins, big differential, good fixture. This is the kind of fixture that Watkins can do really well, playing away against West Ham, so yeah. I like Saka as a punt as well. I think it's a bit safer, of course, going for Saka. Fixture can't be much better playing at home against Wolves, so this will probably be my captain as well. But if you go for Watkins, I'm really hoping that it pays off. So best of luck. Soboslai for Enzo. I'm not really sure if it's worth a transfer, selling Enzo Fernandez to bring in Soboslai. One of the reasons is the fact that He might actually play right back, and he is on for yellow cards as well. So if he picks up another yellow card ahead of game week 19, he will get a 1-match suspension. So Enzo to Soboslai. I'm not sure if this is a good move at the moment. Will Timber and Rice play? So on the press conference yesterday, we didn't get much information from Arteta. He just said that they haven't trained this week, so they need assessments ahead of the game. So we know that they're playing late this evening. I think they both will play. They, especially Timber, is in some predicted starting lineups, but it's really hard to tell. So it's mostly guesswork at this point, but I'm really, really hoping that they will play. I think Rice will play as well. I actually transferred Rice in this morning. I sold Pakta to bring in Rice. So I'm really hoping that Rice will start. So this is my team at the moment. I have both Timber and Rice, so I would like to know the answer to that question myself, but I have to be honest, I'm not 100% sure. But Arsenal fans, they think at least that both of them will start. The fact that Arsenal play that late this evening, I don't really think that we will get any concrete leaked information ahead of the deadline. So the deadline is in 2 hours and 39 minutes. So thanks all for joining in. I actually have to go really soon. So if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. I have weekly Q&As on Friday night ahead of every deadline. When I find the time, I have deadline streams like this as well. And I always post weekly team selection videos with captain selection, transfer plans, watch list, stuff like that. So if you're interested, subscribe to the channel. Thanks all for joining in. Best of luck for game week 16 and have a lovely weekend. And at the end, if anyone posted on X, terribly sorry if I missed it, but hopefully you will be interested in joining next time. It will be next Friday, so hopefully I'll see you then. But once again, thanks for joining in. Remember to subscribe to this channel if you want more content like this. I always have a Friday night Q&A and deadline streams like this, in addition to my weekly team selection videos. But thanks for joining in. Best of luck for game week 16 and have a nice weekend.